All right, guys, today what we're going to be taking a look at is we've got a service tire monitor message on the driver information center, and we've got the TPMS light illuminated, which tells us that the BCM has lost communication with one of the sensors. So since we're rotating the tires today anyway, we'll go try to dive into what's going on there. We're part of the relearn and reset process. Guys, we're looking at a problem where when you're going to reset the TPMS sensors after a tire rotation, you find one that will not reset, right? So normally you should be able just to come around with a tool like this, sends a signal to the sensor, and then after it registers, it's going to beep that it picked it up. And when you get something like this, that means that the battery's dead in the sensor because it's not able to communicate with it and it's not able to get a response. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to pull off the tire and we're going to have to change the sensor. So let me show you. All right, guys, the first thing we're going to need to do is let the air out of the tire. You'll need some kind of a valve stem tool to kind of wedge in here. Get the right size for this particular one. Just kind of hold it there. Definitely wear safety goggles when you're doing this. All right. Now there's this guy. All right, while that's going on, I'm going to get some tire lubricant here. Just like to use some of this around the outside of where we're going to be trying to remove it. There's a couple of different ways you can try to get the tire off and crack the bead, but once you've got all the air out, I like using one of these little bead blaster tools. Getting him wedged in there. And then tightening him up. Once he's in position, got two different kinds of size nuts on this guy. This guy will push the tire down and separate the bead here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do this on both sides so that we can access the sensor. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on the other side and we'll come back. All right, guys, once you get the bead broke on this side, I like to put a couple of 2x2s in here each time, just to kind of hold this in. Here's our TPMS sensor right here. What we're going to have to do is get this little screw off so we can separate the pieces. Just stick some paper towels or a rag or something in here, just so you don't drop that screw down inside the wheel, end up wasting time trying to fish him back out. Now this little guy here is a T10. So if I can get this to stay in a position where you can see. There he goes. All right. Maybe not. So if I can get him down here. There he goes. All right. Now we can stick this T10 bit up in here. Our flashlight is still not cooperating with us. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to be taking a crescent wrench, getting this to let go of the torque it's got. Actually, it'd probably help if I turned it to loosen it, right? There we go. So I'm just going to keep turning this until I can get it loose enough to do it the rest of the way by finger. And there's an example of why we want those rags in there. This is the hardest part of the whole thing. It just depends on the type of sensor you have. You either don't have enough clearance quite to do this, and then you don't have a tool that's very fast here, right? This is going to take me a while to do this. So I'm going to keep working this out, and we'll come back as soon as I get it. All right, guys, this guy's almost to the end here. Figured it'd be a good time to come back. See if I can finish it the rest of the way with my finger. All right. When you do that, that drops the sensor assembly off the stem piece. I put the cap back on just so when I'm pressing on this, it doesn't hurt as bad. And then we can pull this guy out with a valve stem puller. Something like this. Put a little piece of wood here, and it's out. All right, I'm actually going to put this guy back together here, just for a moment, just so we can compare the two. So this is the original one on this 2009 Cobalt. I mean original. So 2009 got a lot of battery life out of this. They normally just last about 6 to 8 years, but this one went a lot further. And the replacement from GM that we're going to put on nowadays is 13598771. And you can see it's a little bit different. And what's important, though, is the weight. As long as the weight between these two is not more than a 1/4 ounce or so, it won't change the balance of the tire. So one of the things I'm going to do before I install this is I'm going to pop it on a scale and show you. So let me go get that. We'll come back. All right, guys, let me turn this scale on and let it zero. When you do a comparison like this, make sure you put the cap on so you got the total weight. So we can see this guy is 0.9 ounces, 1 ounce, right? Now if I take the new one out of the bag and I set him on there, 0.9 ounces, right? So right on the same range of weight. So GM did well. This thing's just bouncing between 0.9 and 1. So we're not going to have to rebalance the tire. This is a good match. Another reason to keep OEM parts. All right, so let's come over here and let's get this guy installed. We're going to take the cap off. We're going to put some of our tire lube around the rubber part of the stem. And then this is probably the next hard part, is trying to get this guy, actually at this point, make these rags out of the way. They're actually hurting us at this stage. And we're going to try and work this guy. By the way, you want to have him with this star facing out, I believe. Hold on a second, let me check it. No, the star facing in. If you see up on top here, you get this guy lined up, then you just push him up from underneath. Just enough to get your tool installed. Yeah, come on, baby. Get on there. Don't want to force it because this is like an aluminum tool. Might mess up the threads. There we go. All right, so now I can come on this side and I can get a look and see, does it really look like it should be like this or like this? And judging from the shape and the position the other one was in, so the other one has kind of a bend to it and it was curved towards it. So it is the star side out. All right, so get my piece of wood here and just pull this guy into position. You can see on this side that you've got a good seam. You get on this side, you got a good seam and it's in position. At this stage, we can just pull our wood out on both sides. And we can release our bead blaster. Okay, at this stage, we're all ready to reseal this guy. So we're just going to lube him up all the way around. And we're going to hook him up to an air compressor and fill him back up to spec and give him another try. All right, guys, let's fill her up. Just going to wait for the compressor to kick in here. As you can see, she's slowly moving into position. Right, we got our bead there. Main part of doing this lubrication is to help it pop into position. So we've got it all the way around here. We're just waiting for this side to kind of go where we need it to go. Hopefully she's going to pop in here in a minute. Otherwise, I might have to lay her down on the ground and give her some persuasion. Stepping on top of it. We just got this little piece here. Definitely don't get your fingers anywhere around something like that while this is going on, because it could pop in at any moment. And it might be kind of loud when it does. All right, slowly closing up. We're at 13 PSI, 14 PSI. There we go. This is all done. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take this up to 33 PSI, and we'll retest our TPMS learning scan tool. All right, guys, let's see if we can read that sensor now. A little bit of glare there, but it got it. So we read the first three. Let's go get the last one. All right, guys, we got rid of that error message. We've got rid of that amber indicator warning that there's a problem with the TPMS system. We can see we got our left front and our right front at 34 and 35. And we got our left rear and our right rear at 34. Probably let a little bit out of that right front to get them all matched at 34 PSI. So that's how you swap out a TPMS sensor, and that's how you diagnose whether that's your problem with a dead battery in one of those sensors. If you got a question or concern or have a better way of doing this, go ahead and leave it in the comments and I'll respond. If you like this video, please hit that like button to communicate that to me, and I'll do more content like this. If you find it useful, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.